produces civilization, cots that resist gravity, dams that restrain rivers, stories that resist oblivion. The paradox of humanity is that it fights against the inevitable collapse while fully aware that collapse will win. Meaning emerges precisely from this struggle against inevitability. The universe is simultaneously a prison, a carnival, and a collapsing structure. Human beings move through it as actors and observers, inventing roles, constructing boxes, playing games, fighting wars, and telling stories until the lights fade and the stage empties again. That which cannot be simpler, stop this day and night with me, and you shall possess the origin of all poems. Whatever is right. Every seeker begins with movement. One moves away from what feels insufficient and towards what appears radiant, pure, salvific, or whole. The spiritual life in its ordinary form is not first a discovery of truth, but a choreography of desire. Idiots say, "What is he doing? Why don't you watch someone play video games? Why don't you go jump off a bridge?" Meditation, prayer, chanting, dietary purity, abstinence, charity, pilgrimage, study, and devotion are often less revelations than directional signals announcing that the self wishes to become other than it is. Stupid people ask, "Is he reading the Bible?" but can't hear the words he is reading. The first question is not what one practices, but why, until the aim is named. Every discipline remains a gesture without a destination. So many morons on here, typing meaningless stuff they can't hear a single word I read. He who cannot say what enlightenment is cannot know whether his road leads towards it or away from it. Vagueness in the goal produces endlessness in the journey. Thus, the law of seeking is severe. If one knows what one is after, one must cease to wonder blindly. If one does not know, one may spend decades decorating confusion with sacred language. Mystical experience is not enlightenment. Ecstasy is not truth. Unity consciousness is not abiding realization merely because it is dazzling. There is a difference between visiting the infinite and awakening the infinite. The former is an event in consciousness. The later is undoing of illusion that consciousness belongs to a separate self. Bliss comes and goes, visions rise and fade, exalted states open and close like weather over the interior sky. Enlightenment, if it is anything, it is weather. It is not weather, but it's a climate. Truth realization is not when one goes there, it is when there comes here. When there comes here, it is not an exclusion or an excursion or an excavation. It is not an excursion into the sacred, but the irreversible recognition that reality has never been elsewhere. The unenlightened imagine heaven as a destination. The awakened discover that the error lay in imagining themselves as travelers. That the error lay in imagining themselves as travelers. Truth is that which cannot be made simpler without ceasing to be truth. Whatever requires continual ornament, defensive commentary, or conceptual embroidery has not yet been brought to its irreducible form. The teacher's task is not to multiply concepts, but to burn through them. True instruction reduces rather than accumulates. Every valid spiritual proposition must survive reduction. If an idea cannot be stated lucidly, it has not yet been understood, no matter how ancient its pedigree or how numinous its vocabulary. To reduce is not to impoverish, but to expose the core. Wisdom is not obscurity successfully marketed. The false teacher enlarges the maze. The real teacher hands over a blade. Every human life is structured. Every human life is structured by a vector towards this, away from that. Even indecision is a direction disguised as hesitation. To live without examining one's movement is to be carried by inherited desires, borrowed fears, and uninspected ideals. Thus, each person should ask, what am I moving toward? What am I moving away from? These two answers constitute the hidden mission statement of the self. Most people do not know their true heading. They know only the language of aspiration they have acquired from religion, culture, therapy, romance, politics, and the marketplace. The spiritual path becomes honest only when one names both one's heaven and one's hell. Someone says, is he in a bookstore? I'm surprised that person knows what a book looks like. The ordinary self is founded on conviction that something is wrong. This conviction is the secret engine of becoming. From this sense of wrongness arises projects, ambitions, reforms, arts, wars, moralities, institutions, and redemptive fantasies. Humanity is mobilized by the belief that reality requires correction. Yet wrongness is not a property of being, it is a judgment cast by the perceiver. Reality does not announce itself as defective. Defect is superimposed by the mind that requires conflict in order to sustain its trauma. If nothing were judged lacking, then nothing would need to be repaired, completed, redeemed, justified, elevated, or transcended. The human theater would lose its plot. Therefore, the belief that something is wrong is the fire beneath civilization. It drives the species precisely because it prevents rest in what is. Within the organism, wrongness has operational unity. Hunger is answered by food, pain by relief, exhaustion by rest. Biology enforces preference by discomfort. But outside the organism's immediate directives, wrongness becomes conceptual theater. The mind extends bodily urgency to metaphysical complaint. Thus, man takes the simple signals of survival and inflates them into ontological grievance. He feels unease and concludes that existence itself is misaligned. This inflation creates the spiritual marketplace. One offers diagnoses for imaginary cosmic defects and prescriptions for repairing what was never broken. The body suffers facts, the ego manufactures meaning from them. Where artificial wrongness is required, fear is inserted. Fear is the great dramatist of human condition. The deepest fear is not pain, loss, humiliation, or death in their ordinary forms. It is the fear of no self, the abyss in which the imagined center does not survive its own inspection. All lesser fears are masks worn by the primal fear, fear of failure, rejection, insignificance, poverty, madness, and mortality. All conceal the more original terror that there may be no enduring need to protect. Human beings are not primarily rational creatures occasionally visited by fear. They are fear-structured beings who sometimes manage to reason. Enlightenment appears terrifying because it is heard correctly as an invitation to surrender to the fiction around which fear has organized itself. Thus, enlightenment is not sought by the ego in any sincere sense. It may be romanticized, preached, purchased in mind, but when it approaches in earnest, the ego experiences it as annihilation.